How rich is South Africa? You are watching The Explore, where we bring to you insights of fascinating stories from all over Africa. How rich is South Africa has been a topic of debate for experts, tourists, or even those traveling for work. Welcome, The Explorers. If you're new to the channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for prompt notification on recent uploads. South Africa, officially the Republic of South Africa, is located on the southern tip of Africa, with coastlines on both the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. Africa's third largest economy behind Nigeria and Egypt, South Africa draws hundreds of thousands of visitors each year, eager to see its impressive terrain, wildlife, and cultural diversity. This country has for decades featured low unemployment, steady growth, and minimized inflation. Over the past 2 decades or so, the government of South Africa has implemented a number of policies that have strengthened the country's economic position and rank standing worldwide. Thanks to that and a few other factors, today it is ranked as one of the richest countries in the world. Today we are going to be looking at just how they achieved this wealth, but first, a little background. Fast fact: South Africa has over 60 million people. It is the world's 23rd most populous nation and covers an area of 1,221,037 square kilometers, which is 471,445 square miles. South Africa has 3 capital cities: Executive Pretoria, Judicial Bloemfontein, and Legislative Cape Town. The largest city is Johannesburg. About 80% of South Africans are of Black African ancestry, divided among a variety of ethnic groups speaking different African languages. The remaining population consists of Africa's largest communities of European, white South Africans, Asian, Indian South Africans, and Chinese South Africans, and multiracial colored ancestry too. How South Africa became rich. The economy of South Africa was revolutionized in the late 19th century when diamonds and gold were discovered there. Extensive investments from foreign capital followed. In the years since World War II, the country has established a well-developed manufacturing base, and it has experienced highly variable growth rates, including some years when its growth rate was among the highest in the world. Growth, employment, and redistribution, GEAR, that focused on privatization and the removal of exchange controls. GEAR was only moderately successful in achieving some of its goals, but was hailed by some as laying an important foundation for future economic progress. The government also implemented new laws and programs designed to improve the economic situation of the marginalized majority. One such strategy, called Black Economic Empowerment (B), focused on increasing the number of employment opportunities for people formerly classified under apartheid as Black, Colored, or Indian, improving their work skills and enhancing their income-earning potential. The country is a primary producer of iron and steel, an important producer of oil from coal. The Electrical Supply Commission, ESCOM, the majority electricity utility, remains government-controlled, but several entities that formerly were branches of government have been converted to public corporations, including Transnet, which runs the railways, and harbors. In the 90s, the government partially privatized airlines and telecommunications, and despite fierce opposition from trade unions, official economic policy has been to continue partially or completely privatizing many public enterprises. Agriculture, forestry, and fishing. Agriculture is of major importance to South Africa. It produces a significant portion of exports and contributes greatly to the domestic economy, especially as an employer, though land and water resources are generally poor. Arable land constitutes only slightly more than one-tenth of the country's surface area, with well-watered fertile soils existing primarily in the Western Cape River valleys and on KwaZulu-Natal coast. The high veld of Mpumalanga and Free State historically has offered adequate conditions for extensive cereal cultivation, based on substantial government extension services and subsidies to white farm owners. Among the major crops are corn, wheat, sugarcane, sorghum, peanuts, citrus, and fruits and tobacco. Sheep, goats, cattle, and pigs are raised for food and other products. Wool and meat, beef, lamb, and mutton and goat are important. Dairy, including butter and cheese, and egg production are also significant, particularly around the major urban centers. Timber resources are minimal, but the small amounts of forested land has been supplemented by substantial areas under plantation in the wetter parts of the east and southeast. The forest industry supplies mining timber, pulpwood for paper and board mills, and building timbers mostly sufficient for a construction industry that primarily uses brick, concrete, and steel. The principal shoal fishing catches are pilchard and Mars banker, while offshore trawling brings in kingklip, agulha sole, cape hack, and kabelju, among others. GDP. Although for decades manufacturing has employed more people and produced a greater proportion of gross domestic product at about 320 billion US dollars, GDP per capita is expected to reach 7,080 US dollars by the end of 2021. According to Trading Economics Global Macro Models and Analyst Expectation, ranks South Africa third in Africa, though it was formerly the second. Residents' average is 860.758 US dollars. South Africa has over 36,500 high net worth individuals. The country concentrates the largest amount of millionaires on the continent, and Egypt follows with 15,500. Both nations were also listed as the wealthiest countries in Africa. The wealth valley referred to as assets such as cash, properties, and business interests held by individuals living in each country, less liabilities. Government funds were excluded. According to the source, there were approximately 125,000 millionaires living in the continent, each with net assets making the country an utopia for wealth. Resources and power. South Africa is rich in a variety of minerals. In addition to diamonds and gold, the country also contains reserves of iron ore, platinum, manganese, chromium, copper, uranium, silver, beryllium, and titanium. No commercially exploitable deposits of petroleum have been found yet, but there are moderate quantities of natural gas located off the southern coast, and synthetic fuel is made from coal at two large plants in the provinces of Free State and Mpumalanga. The mining sector continues to form the core of the South African economy, as mining-centered holding companies invest in other economic activity. Gold remains the most important mineral. South Africa is the world's largest producer of coal, platinum, and chromium, which are mined at centers such as Rustenburg and Steelport in the northeast, and are becoming increasingly significant economically. Vast deposits of platinum group and chromium minerals are located mainly to the north of Pretoria. Northern Cape Province contains most of the major deposits of iron ore and manganese, and titanium-bearing sands are common on the eastern seaboard. In addition, the country produces uranium, palladium, nickel, copper, antimony, vanadium, fluorspar, and limestone. Diamond mining, historically concentrated around Kimberley, now occurs in a variety of localities. The South African diamond industry is among the world's largest. Nearly all of South Africa's electricity is produced thermally, almost entirely from coal. Most electric power is generated by ESCOM at huge stations in Pumalanga. More significant are the projects to import electricity from stations on the Zambezi River at Kahora Bassa, Mozam, and on rivers in the Lesotho Highlands. South Africa exports electricity to various Southern African countries. Manufacturing. The major manufacturing sectors are food processing and the production of textiles, metals, and chemicals. Agriculture and fisheries provide the basis for substantial activity in meat, fish, and fruit canning, sugar refining, and other processing. More than half of these products are exported. A large and complex chemistry industry has developed from early beginnings in the manufacture of explosives for use in mining. A coal-based petrochemical industry provides a wide range of plastics, resins, and industrial chemicals. Manufacturing has depended heavily on foreign capital. It expanded rapidly in the 1960s and early 70s, but grew relatively slowly and even contracted during the 80s. As mining gradually declines, manufacturing and its need for foreign capital take on even greater importance for national development. About 1/4 of manufacturing output is exported. Finance and banking. South Africa has a well-developed financial system centered on the South African Reserve Bank, which is the sole issuing authority for the rand, the national currency. It formulates and implements monetary policy and manages foreign exchange transactions. There are many registered banking institutions, a number of which concentrate on commercial banking, as well as merchant, savings, investment, and projects. Private pension and provident funds and more than 24 insurance companies play significant roles in the financial sector. An active capital market exists, organized around the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Trade. Because of its dependence on foreign trade, South Africa's economy is sensitive to global economic conditions. Precious metals and base metals have been leading exports. Agricultural goods and military equipment also play an important role. The country's major imports are chemicals, chemical products, and motor vehicles. South Africa's main trading partners include China, the United States, Germany, and Japan. Regional trade in South Africa is increasingly important, especially through the Southern African Development Community. Since the end of apartheid, South African companies have sought to expand investment in other African countries, particularly in mining and commercial activity. So if you're thinking of going to South Africa for business, then South Africa is a choice to make. Services. Tourism is becoming increasingly important to South Africa's economy. While the majority of tourists come from African countries, an increasing number of arrivals are from Europe and the Americas. There are many tourist attractions in the country, notably the national and transnational parks. Travel across South Africa's borders into African countries is being eased. Among the most popular tourist attractions are the wine regions in Western Cape Province, Table Mountain, Robben Island, designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1999, the location of an infamous prison, and historic sites such as the former diamond mines in Kimberley, the Vredefort Dome, designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2005, the world's oldest and largest meteorite impact site, and the Mapungubwe Settlement Area, designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003, the ruins of an important kingdom of Iron Age. Ecotourism is increasing in popularity, as in village tourism, in which visitors can learn about traditional rural culture. Labor and taxation. Central government taxation consists primarily of income taxes on individuals and businesses, and a value-added tax on transactions. Provincial governments depend mainly on transfer payments from the central government, while property taxes and levies on businesses provide the main support for local government. Transportation and telecommunications. South Africa contains no navigable rivers. The coastal shipping provides the only water transport. The country's network of roads and railways is the most expensive in Africa, and shore handles most of the transportation demand, supplemented by air travel. South Africa has been said to be a business and touristic haven to Africa and all over. If you ever had in mind to go to South Africa for either work, travel fantasies, or trade, then you know where to go to. For South Africa is highly welcoming to the outside world, despite the apartheid and the COVID-19 outbreaks that fell the nation. There you have it, explorers. We call it a wrap for today's video concerning how rich South Africa is. Hope the video was interesting and educative. And if that is the case, kindly subscribe and turn on the notification for alerts on our new uploads. Give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and leave a comment on your line of thoughts or rating this video. The best comment will be pinned to the comment section.